All right, friends, I think I'm live. Double check here. All right. You can turn on the chat. Hi everyone. Jenn Dies here. I am reporting from Washington, D.C., our nation's capital, full of corruption. As Jordan calls it, the dome of corruption is the capital. I'm actually like all around me there are pigeons and birds like freaking out and flapping their wings and flying around, and I don't know what they're doing. But I'm here in DuPont Circle here in Washington, D.C. Hopefully you saw yesterday, Jordan and I reported from, if I'm ducking, it's because there's a pigeon flying in my head. There's literally 100 pigeons around me. Anyway, so Jordan was in town here in DC, which is I live about an hour and 10 minutes away. See, and so Jordan was here, had some work here to do. So I was so happy to be able to see my buds, to get to have a couple dinners with them, etc. And yesterday, Jordan and I had a live stream right in front of the DNC, right in front of, oh God, I don't know if you saw that, but that was very close to my head. You don't see this on CNN, right? Um, oh my God. Okay, so many pigeons. Um, so Jordan and I did a live stream yesterday right in front of the DNC, the Democratic, committee, national headquarters, essentially. So we did that because yesterday there was a right wing neo Nazi found in front of the DNC with a machete, a bayonet, some knives, some animal spines, some swastikas. Not a good sign. Not a good sign. So that was leading up to this coming Saturday, which is going to be here in DC, and there's supposed to be a like Justice for January 6th rally, which is pretty insane in my opinion. Those folks don't need justice. Insurrectionists don't need justice. So we'll see how that pans out, but definitely check out Jordan and my live stream yesterday from right in front of the DNC headquarters, and you'll see what's going on there. Smash the like button, share this stream. I'm checking in on everyone. Mar Rana says hello there. You're live. Good. Irvin asks, what does Tulsi Stand's imperialism mean? So I'm going to talk about that. I'm very disturbed. You know, back during the primaries, Jordan and I started to see Tulsi kind of wavering from progressive values and kind of falling into the trap of being, let's say it, like a regular normie Democrat, and not necessarily in the way that she um, you know, presented her policies or whatever, but she did end up endorsing Biden before Bernie Sanders had dropped out. So that raised a ton of questions. There were some other warning signs, but so in the end, Jordan and I, as we do, were very open and honest in saying, I don't think this candidate is expressing, the values, the policies that progressives actually want. And we ended up getting a lot of crap for that. We ended up getting a ton of people saying that we were sellouts and this and that. Well, as I'll show you today, that's not the case. Uh, Tulsi Gabbard has just been on a mission for months doing imperialism. So we'll talk about that as we get on here. People are just joining us, so smash the like button, share the stream. We'll talk about Tulsi. We'll talk about these insane pigeons swirling around my head. we'll talk. There's so many pigeons. We'll talk about a lot of different things, including AOC rubbing elbows with the elite. So I have a lot to say about that in particular. Um, it's of course not the most important issue by far. You know, AOC showing up at the Met Gala wearing a taxer dress is certainly not like the most important issue that I can talk about, but it is such an exemplary example. I don't even know if that's proper terminology, but who cares? Of defying the rich. If you're showing up at their party as part of them, like sure, like maybe like demonstrate a protest in front of the Met Gala, is saying like wearing a tax the rich dress, but like wearing a tax the rich dress and going to the Met Gala with these amazing people you're supposed to be really against. Like if you're not going to do a grand gesture or something in the middle of the Met Gala, what are you doing? So, and that's really funny to me is because we often get bullshit on this channel, Jordan and I, from people saying that we stand the squad or we stand XYZ. No, that's not the case at all. When politicians do something good for progressives, we talk about it. When politicians like AOC, like Bernie, do something that goes against progressive values, we talk about it. That's what's called consistency. That's what's called actual moral values, and that's what we espouse here on Status Coup. Keep smashing the like button, please. Um, Swirly Troll says, "Isn't this Cruella?" I don't know what you're talking about, but I love you, Swirly. I don't know if you're like talking about the great new movie that came out. I haven't actually seen the whole thing, Cruella. I think Emma did a pretty good job, but perhaps. So Bielsa's the designers of Black women. Okay, great. That's awesome. Great. So she could have worn that dress designed by a black woman to protest in front of the Met Gala with hundreds of supporters or something like that. So that's the thing in being consistent and being a channel with actual values. We will either get shit from people who say we're standing AOC when we praise her when she just does something right, and we get shit from people saying we're anti AOC or whatever when we call her out for not doing what's right. So it's what you get when you have actual values. But we'll get into all of that. Right now, I'm just kind of uh, not wasting time, but waiting for more people to join us. Swirly Swirl says the Met is a fundraiser event. Yeah, sure, it's a fundraiser event. Great, but uh, for one thing, it's not a fundraiser event for. Sure, it matters, but it's not like a fundraiser event to like change the world. It's the Met Gala. So we can say, oh, wonderful. Like these celebrities, the Met, they're raising money for an important cause, etc. Yeah, it's $35,000 per ticket. And uh, if these folks actually cared, um, it would all go to a very reputable, important charity. It wouldn't go towards whatever they're doing over there in the Met. So I get it. I get the pull towards um, people like defending AOC for this because yeah, she went to the gala and she was wearing this dress saying tax the rich, and so some people could take from that, oh great for AOC, wow, she's really standing up for us, she's really progressive, like here she is amongst these elites doing what progressives are supposed to do, etc. No, but did it make any change? No, it's not going to make any change. It wasn't like a shocking event or a shocking action that's pulling people to do the right thing. This is not a shocking event or action that's pulling pulling normie Democrats or normie liberals that makeup, the scene of Hollywood, which is what the Met is, the coastal elites. There's nothing that she did that's going to change their minds, and I think that's what it comes down to. So her wearing a tax the rich dress, it's popular to wear that, right? She's not taking a risk. She's not going to be like rejected by Hollywood and New York City elites for wearing that dress. Um, and if she's not, so if this is like accepted among like liberal elite rhetoric, is she really doing any good? And I think the answer to that is no. So we'll talk more about that. I understand that there are differences of opinion. Tony says, I'm glad to see you feeling well, Jen. I have to say I'm not. I'm not actually feeling great, but I appreciate it. I meant to go home. I live in Maryland, and we did the live stream with Jordan in DC yesterday, and I was going to drive back home, but I ended up just staying here because I simply did not feel well. Um, it's it's taking a lot out of me to be out in the heat, etc. But that's okay. A lot of people have a lot more important things going on for sure. So smash the like button, share this stream. This is going to be kind of a different uh, presentation because I'm live on this device that I have. We're not able to share. We have to figure out the sound issues, etc. We're not able to share things on the screen for you. That's okay because I'm gonna tell you. I'm gonna read for you what's going on, what's on my mind, what's on our minds here at Status Coup, and what I think is important. So again, smash the like button, share the stream. It matters. It really, really does. So first of all, let me um, let me open up again because this is not done on our computer, etc. We can't really show you in the most professional way uh, what I'm trying to show you, but that's okay because I'm gonna make it work here, and you guys know we're not CNN. One second, apparently my own voice is playing, which I don't. So the first thing I want to show you, let's talk about AOC first. Let's talk about AOC, then we'll get into Tulsi, which I have a lot to say about Tulsi. So this is going to be me literally holding things up to you. You won't be able to see them well. You won't. I'm sorry. I'm, again, in the middle of DC, and we don't have the software right here on this phone to show you, but I think it'll work out, and I think you'll get the gist of what I'm talking about. So this is important. So this is a video showing, I believe it's a Vanity Fair, or excuse me, it's a Vogue. So this is Vogue interviewing AOC, and here's this has gotten 8.1 million views. So let's see what AOC had to say. I'm gonna restart it once I make it bigger here. One second, my friend. One second. All right. So how about I'll play the audio for you first. It literally just says, "What a model, AOC! I didn't know you were a model." Well, she's not. She's a politician supposed to be fighting for progressive values. But here's what was said. Tax the rich. What a model, AOC. Wow, I didn't know you model as well. Damn. My God, tax. What a model, AOC. I didn't know you model as well. So here's the video. My God, tax the rich. What a model, AOC. Wow, I didn't know you model as well. Damn. My God, tax. So sure, I don't have a huge issue with this. I don't. Um, sure, Vogue or whoever is going to say whatever they're going to say at the Met Gala. It's a fat event. People look for these extraordinary costumes, essentially, at the Met Gala. It's a well-known event. It's a well-attended event among the elites. Kim Kardashian wore this insane. Like, literally, her face was covered in a black, like, it looked like a black stocking, and then her entire body was covered in black clothing. I don't know what her goal was there, whatever. Her and Kanye do what they do. So fine, it's a big, big fashion event. So of course, they're going to talk about AOC's fashion at this fashion event at the Met Gala. So that's fine. I don't have an issue with that. I don't, good. AOC didn't just attend in a regular old dress or whatever. She did attend in a tax the rich dress, which, okay, fine, sure. 1 second here while I pull up this next thing. Sure, that's fine, but I have to say it's performative. It really is. And I'm someone who on occasion rails against people saying that certain things the squad or whoever does are performative. Like, I did not think that what Cori Bush did outside of the Capitol, um, when she was railing against evictions, I did not find that performative. She's been a homeless mother, like literally been a homeless mother, unlike those who are yelling at her. So Cori Bush, until she shows me otherwise, is a good progressive voice. I do not agree with everything. I I wish that her and the rest of the squad would do a lot more, but I'm not going to yell at her about that. She literally did sleep outside of the Capitol. That's not a comfortable position. But AOC accepting a $30,000 to $35,000 ticket to the Met Gala, that's a bit different. That's quite a bit different. So, in calling that performative, what AOC did, I think that's pretty valid because it's, again, I don't think that changed any minds. It was simply a matter of like, okay, this is accepted liberal things to say right now. This is acceptable. This is fine to say. It wasn't anything like out of the ordinary for these elites who were attending this event. This wasn't anything shocking to them. This wasn't anything that was going to change their minds because it's already something that's in the popular rhetoric. Now, does that translate to policy? No, of course not. We're definitely not taxing the rich. We're not, and that needs to happen. So maybe AOC plans this as part of a wider outreach, as part of a wider plan. But her wearing a tax the rich dress to the Met Gala is not going to bring about any change. Those rich elites who were with her, who she was surrounded by, are not going to say, "Oh yeah, I get it. Yeah, I should be taxed, and poor people should like be able to live and have human rights." No, so it didn't bring about anything. What it did bring about, I have to say, is discourse. It brought about a lot of discussion. And so I totally understand if part of the argument here is that, okay, AOC did this admittedly performative thing, but now people are talking about it. Now people are talking about taxing the rich. I do think that's valid. I think that's incredibly valid, and I hope that does help some. But I don't know that's measurable based on what AOC did. So I'm going to read a bit from uh, CNN Style. They put this under CNN Style, of course they did. AOC caused a stir with her statement-making Met Gala gown. Congresswoman Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez took to the 2021 Met Gala on Monday evening with a bright red message for Americans: tax the rich. Dressed in a white off-the-shoulder gown by Brooklyn-based designer brand Brother Bellies, the New York politician revealed the statement scrawled in bold lettering on the back of her dress as she ascended the steps of the Metropolitan Museum of Art. Making her Met Gala debut, Ocasio-Cortez completed the look with trademark gold hoops and a single pink flower pinned into her hair bun. Speaking to reporters at the event, she explained why she had brought her message to the Met Gala, an event attended by many of Hollywood's biggest and wealthiest stars. So again, we're doing it kind of old school here. Here's the dress, Tax the Rich, next to who I believe is the designer. She said, when we talk about supporting working families and when we talk about having a fair tax code, oftentimes this conversation is happening among working and middle class people on the Senate floor. I think it's time to bring all classes into the conversation, she continued. Ocasio-Cortez's choice of white echoed the laundry of American congresswomen wearing the shade in reference to the women's suffrage movement. She wore a white suit to her swearing-in ceremony in 2019, later saying on Twitter that it was in honor of the women who paved the path before me and for all the women yet to come. My opinion is, okay, that sounds good. That sounds really good. But wouldn't it have been more effective to get supporters outside of the Met Gala protesting and talking about their individual stories, regular working class people? Wouldn't it have been more impactful for AOC to literally take people's stories to the Met Gala and talk about individuals? You know, obviously, I'm not privy to her personal conversations or whatever. Maybe she did go up to those very wealthy, rich celebrities. Maybe she did go up to Kim Kardashian and say, let's tax the rich. Let's help these people who are being actively evicted out of their homes, who are actively homeless or whatever. Maybe she did, but we have no indication that she did, which is really, really discouraging and disturbing in my point of view. I see some folks here. David Melford says in the chat, Jen, it needs to be performative in order to get the message out. So I am all for that. I am all for doing whatever you have to do to get your message out, to get actual progressive policies out. But is that what she did? Again, it was completely acceptable. It wasn't, at all shocking or whatever for AOC to show up in a tax the rich dress. So I could be wrong, and I'm I always try to believe in the good of people. I hope that she intended that to have an impact, but you can see Kim Kardashian or whoever attends these Met Gala, whatever's. You can see them saying yeah, tax the rich. That's the liberal thing I'm supposed to say. And then what? And then what? So I understand performative things. I understand stunts. I understand that AOC has now sparked discourse across the internet, across the country, in talking about taxing the rich. But does it have value and oomph behind it? Does it? Or did she just accept a $30,000 to $35,000 ticket and a designer dress, admittedly, reportedly designed by a person of color, I believe a black designer? Does that make any substantive difference for people in this country? Maybe it can. Maybe it will lead to that. But what I'm saying is, if she could have done something to further this that would have been more impactful. So she could have accepted this ticket and protested, or she could have accepted this ticket and done something on the floor in the middle of it, or whatever. I don't know. It's easy to judge, from the spectator seat, but I think, in my opinion, and we do say, when AOC does something good, we do say when AOC does something performative or not helpful. And in my opinion, this is not helpful at all. So, Ted Stryker saying the message isn't for them. Sure, you can make that argument, and I think that's valid for sure. So people now see AOC's dress and they see it all over the place. They see it all over the various news outlets, etc. And so I think, David, that that's a very valid point, where now this, the tax the rich statement is now making headlines where it wouldn't before. So that's valid for sure. Absolutely. I agree with that. Um, I simply think, Ted, that it could have gone further, and that a true, activist like railing against the system, it's hard to do that when you're surrounded by opulence, when you're surrounded by the elites, when you're surrounded by those you're trying to impress. And I don't know AOC on a personal level, of course, and all of that, but I have to say, like, I could not stomach going to that event and not speaking out against its opulence and its just its power, and the power of all those who attended, which is a lot. It's a lot of power, a hell of a lot of power. So there are some other things that I want to talk about. Again, we don't have our normal system here where we can show you guys what I'm reading. But I also, in addition to the AOC discourse, I want to talk about Tulsi Gabbard. Tulsi Gabbard. Folks. So you'll remember, maybe if you've been watching us for a while here on Seventh Coup, that we got a lot of heat for pointing out some things that Tulsi Gabbard has done, has said, etc., that were not progressive and that were not in line with people's values, that say that they're on the left, etc. And Tulsi Gabbard, it's it's really sad to me because she was fully in 2016 in the camp of supporting Bernie Sanders. She, because they kicked Nina out, was able to nominate Bernie Sanders in 2016 at the DNC. She's someone who I, at one point, truly thought was railing against the system, ready to take stuff down, was ready to move on, especially against imperialism. We knew that Tulsi's a soldier in the military, and that she's supposedly, as part of that, has special insight into what's going on and what needs to happen and what needs to stop, including imperialism. Well, Tulsi Gabbard has been disappointing us for a long time. And again, there are several vocal folks with platforms on the left who were complete Tulsi Gabbard stands, who denounced Bernie Sanders in favor of Tulsi Gabbard in saying that she's the only anti-war candidate, she's the only XYZ, which of course was never true. So we took a lot of heat for that. And I don't want to do an I told you so, but we told you so. We did. We told you that Tulsi Gabbard was not truly progressive, was not in line with the values that progressives want and espouse. And it's sad to me. It was sad to me back then. It's sad to me now. So Tulsi Gabbard, uh, there's a lot here. There's a lot to unpack. So she made on 9/11, and in 1 second, be patient with me while I try to look for this tweets. Again, I don't have my computer, so it's much more difficult to find what I'm looking for. Um, well, Tulsi Gabbard made a disgusting tweet on 9/11 that was essentially anti-Muslim, anti-Islam. Um, it was horrifying. So I commented on that. I tweeted about that. I tweeted about what Tulsi had said. Um, Unfortunately, I don't have that specific tweet, but what I do have is what she said the other day. So Tulsi has apparently, and here is her tweet. And again, I'm gonna have you listen first, and then I'll show you the video and have you listen so you can hear what she said. So she tweeted on, I believe it's today. Yeah, so she tweeted today, September 14th, this. Her tweet says, "Aloha, you haven't heard from me lately as I've been gone for the last 4 months on an active duty tour and deployment to Africa as a civil affairs officer, supporting a special forces mission to go after Al Qaeda affiliated jihadists. It was truly my honor to work with incredible patriots, experienced, focused warriors with an unwavering commitment to serve our country. We should never forget that no matter the decisions made by politicians, careerists in the Pentagon, it is our men and women in uniform who selflessly and quietly defend the safety, security, and freedom of our country every single day. I haven't posted much since I was gone because I was asked not to talk about my going overseas until my mission was complete. Al Qaeda is very active where we were, and as someone who has a high profile, I would have been a prime target for the enemy, putting my life and the lives of my fellow service members and our mission in greater danger. I look forward to discussing the foreign and domestic issues and challenges facing our country." So here is her speaking on this video.
Aloha, everyone. You haven't heard much from me lately. I've been gone for the last 4 months, serving on an active duty tour and deployment to Africa as a civil affairs officer. I was supporting a special forces mission to go after Al Qaeda affiliated jihadists. Now, every single day, it was truly my honor to work with incredible patriots, experienced, focused warriors with an unwavering commitment to serve our country. We should never forget that, no matter the decisions that the politicians make or the careerists in the Pentagon make, it is our men and women in uniform who selflessly and quietly defend the safety, security, and freedom of our country every day. Now, I haven't posted much since I was gone because I was asked not to talk about my going overseas until my mission was complete. Al Qaeda is very active where we were, and as someone who has a high profile, I would have been a prime target for the enemy, putting my life and the lives of my fellow service members and our mission in greater danger. Now I look forward to discussing the foreign and domestic issues and challenges that we're facing in our country.
So again, that is Tulsi Gabbard, and she's, of course, talking about doing imperialism. She's been on a special mission for the last several months, and that's why we haven't heard much from her. Now, obviously, I'm anti-terrorism. I'm anti, people trying to murder other people for religion or whatever the cause. But for people on the left to say that Tulsi Gabbard is the only anti-war candidate is absolutely absurd. She is literally doing imperialism right now. She just said it in Africa. Um, I don't understand those who are still defending Tulsi Gabbard as being someone who's on the left. She has a lot of other issues going on in her background and in her stance and her policies that are very much at issue, including Medicare for all. So you have some on the left who stand her so hard that they were willing to lie and say that she is a Medicare for all supporter, that she's anti-war, etc. Of course she's not. She's not. That's not who Tulsi Gabbard is. Tulsi Gabbard is an imperialist. She's not someone who, went to war or joined the military and regrets it. She's someone who finds pride in that. And I'm not trying to, denounce our service members or whatever. It's just reality that we do need protection for our country. That's what the world we live in. But there's a difference between that and actively being part of. Um, we don't have many details, but actively being part of what she's part of currently, what she's been a part of in the past, including her policies. So I so EPS, Tom Cutts, is fighting terrorism isn't necessarily imperialism, sure, but you have to look at our history, the history of our country. So, is Tulsi being in Africa? In Africa, um, is her being in Africa with other military folk helping anyone, or is it doing imperialism? Is it our role to dominate every other country and do whatever the hell we want to do? It shouldn't be. That's what the United States has turned into. So I just don't I don't get that point at all. Unfortunately, that is who Tulsi Gabbard is, and that disappoints me as well. There have been times where I'm very vocal about the fact that I've supported Bernie Sanders because of policy. I'm vocal about the fact that I think Bernie Sanders changed the left in this country dramatically. He's responsible for moving the Overton wind on things like Medicare and the $15 minimum wage. Um, those are still fights that we're waging, but Bernie's responsible for that. He doesn't waver. He's like not actively going to Africa and being an imperialist, etc. But people tried to sway others to believing that Tulsi was the actual leftist and Bernie was not. So my point here is to point out that people are very disappointed. Um, there have been times where I've really liked Tulsi. Just forget the sirens here. 1 second, I'll wait till the siren passes. Again, I'm in the middle of DC, DuPont Circle. So you never know. You never know. Whether it's pigeons coming at your head or sirens, you're gonna have it. So I just I've been incredibly disappointed by so many people on the left. So many people who purported to be progressive, people who've purported to support the policies that are so important for progressives, and repeatedly have been again disappointed. And I'm very disappointed in what Tulsi Gabbard is doing and what she's saying. She on 9/11. Again, I wish I pulled it up. I thought I did. I apologize for that. But on 9/11, she made an anti-Muslim, anti-Islam message, and she's simply not a progressive. She is literally has been overseas doing imperialism. So I just think there were some so-called leftists, some folks who tell people that they're progressive, who were really championing Tulsi Gabbard to the detriment of the left, I believe. I don't know that it made a substantive difference, but those lying about Tulsi Gabbard's record and the things that she believes and her actual policies, I do think did harm. And those are some of the same people on the so-called left who are lying right now about what's going on the left, what's going on with COVID, etc. So to that I just say beware. Please beware for sure. Um, I am at a point where I'm very discouraged. I'm horrified by some folks on the left who I previously really liked, and that's sad to me. It's honestly, it's really gotten me down. that I don't know who I can trust in some cases, and I don't know who is truly fighting for folks. My answer to that is focusing on the activists, focusing on the people who are doing on the ground work, those who are walking the walk, not just, firing up their webcam and getting on YouTube, not just, doing whatever they're doing, YouTube, podcast, whatever. Those who are not just speaking, but those who are acting. And one of the things that I want to highlight for sure is someone who's done some reporting for us in the past, Afeni, who I love. I think she's fantastic. She sent me this. One second, my friends. Oh, one second. Again, the production value on me being in the middle of DuPont Square is not perfect. DuPont Circle is not perfect, but that's okay. I know you guys understand. So, Afeni, who is on the Fred Hampton Leftist show, you can check that out, wrote me with this, saying this is what our communities are dealing with. Evictions are unacceptable. Evictions during a global pandemic are inhumane. So this is here in DC that this happened. And so when you're trying to figure out who to follow on the left, I really recommend following those who are on the ground and who are actually sharing what's happening with real people in this country, not just people who are, yelling about what someone said on YouTube, not like leftist infighting. Let's Let's focus. And so, Afeni, you can find her at REDDISARI, at Redis RE, and Afeni. So this is what she sent and what she tweeted about what's happening in Washington, D.C., our nation's capital. One second here.
See this, y'all? These is old military people posted in our neighborhoods and shit, bro. What is y'all doing, U.S. Marines? Where the marshals? Yes, sir. Where the smoke at, bro? Where the problem at? Who y'all looking for? Are y'all supposed to be in this neighborhood, bro? Yeah, we got an eviction happening about another 10 or 15 minutes. They need some colored people, bro, because I don't think y'all are emotionally and mentally equipped to deal with the people in our neighborhood because you haven't come from our backgrounds for you to well enough understand this. Do you understand where I'm coming from with this? Yeah. So you guys have Latino backgrounds, or you all Caucasian? We got some in the back too. One Italian. One Italian. Yeah. Okay. As long as y'all do y'all job responsibly, don't harass people and only go after people who really need to go. We have no problem. I seen the regular police beating up black people. Y'all look like the marshals, so I hope y'all don't do that. I already told the police, if you going to do some shit, do it peacefully, because I'm right here on camera, and they ain't harassing nobody or beating nobody up or doing nothing unfair. Where y'all names at? Y'all don't got name tags in here, bro? Y'all don't got name tags? Nobody answering me? I need to know who I'm going to be reporting if y'all do anything unjust to these people. We got a couple colored people, bro. I got to make sure. I know, but you got people on camera. I don't know who he is. These are my people. I'm trying to make sure they straight. It's 10 of y'all and 3 of them, bro. She's a woman with 2 kids, bro. They throwing an eviction. The U.S. Marshals have no name tags. They hopped out in unmarked minivans, and they got guns. When do you need unmarked minivans and guns to move somebody out of a house?
Just, I don't even know what to say to this video, to be honest. Afeni, hashtag that, housing is a human right. Of course it is. I don't understand how this is happening in our country. I I know it on an intellectual and historical level, of course, but I don't understand how everybody is not talking about things like this. I don't understand how everybody is not railing against things like this. I don't understand why more people are not out in the streets railing against this. This video is crazy. This is supposedly a free country. Afeni tweeted later, "I really want to cry. Like this shit is fucking sick." That's that sums it up perfectly. It's disgusting. It is, in the truest sense, deplorable, and that is what this country is. We here at Status Coup have reported on. Sounded like we're having an argument there. But we here at Status Quo have reported for a long time on evictions, the eviction crisis. Even though there was a so-called eviction moratorium, that wasn't really the case. There were a lot of reasons why landlords could still continue to evict folks, which, of course, we're in the middle of a pandemic. It was always absurd, and that continues on. Um, yeah, I just really heartbroken by the video, and everybody should be. Everybody should be really heartbroken by those people who were in that video that gentleman captured. The fact that um, the guy who was filming said, is there someone of color, dealing with this as well? I think that's important. For someone to say, "Oh, there's an Italian," what? That is that is just directly. Uh, I don't know what the word is, but that's directly, you know, I would say making fun of the idea that it's important to have people who understand the plight of folks in this country. It's directly targeting and making fun of those people to say like, oh, is there a person of color here doing this too? And for someone to say, oh, and it's, yeah, an Italian. No, that's really incredibly rude and absurd to say. When someone is clearly asking that for a reason, for a reason. So actually, I spoke to Afeni earlier today, and I believe tomorrow there's a protest surrounding this. So she's gonna grab some footage for us from that. So I'm so grateful for that, and I look forward to that. It's absolutely horrifying. In addition to AOC and Tulsi Gabbard and imperialism, and in addition to what we just spoke about, which is the horrifying eviction crisis and what's actively happening here in Washington, D.C., our nation's capital, I also want to talk about some organizing. So this is something that we here at Status Quo feel is very, very underreported. It is great. It is so great, in my opinion, that there are so many people who are organizing and covering things like, or not covering, but like actively participating in things like worker strikes. And so there are some great and very important worker strikes going on right now that I really want to highlight. There's a new one as of, I believe, today. Let me double check that. Again, this is definitely not as easy to do on my phone as it is on the computer to get everything organized, but I know you guys completely understand. So this is a group that works for, uh, 1 second, that works for an app company. Here we go. So uh, it says, in partnership with Code-CWA, we filed an unfair labor practice suit with the National Labor Relations Board. So this is at A Better ABK. And at A Better ABK includes the employees of Activision Blizzard working together for change. So this includes some of the very popular apps that you might have on your phone right now. So these folks are actively organizing. Here is an article out of Vice surrounding this. And again, this is what is important is real action in this country. Real action, like what's going to happen tomorrow against this insane U.S. movement to evict people and violate human rights, etc. That is incredibly important, not, BS on the left. That's important, and this is important. So again, out of Vice, Activision Blizzard workers accuse company of union busting and intimidation. Activision and Blizzard workers are accusing the company of intimidation and union busting in a charge filed with the National Labor Relations Board. The workers argue that Activision Blizzard management is using coercive tactics to attempt to prevent its employees from exercising their rights to stand together and demand a more equitable, sustainable, and diverse workplace. The workers have filed an unfair labor practice charge with the NLR Bagoness, the company, on Friday. The Communications Workers of America's campaign to organize digital employees are supporting the Activision Blizzard workers. The accusation comes after the state of California sued the gaming giant in July for fostering a frat boy workplace culture and for being a breeding ground for harassment, especially against women employees. In the days following the lawsuit, hundreds of workers walked out in protest and have been outspoken on Twitter. Activision Blizzard workers have organized as ABK Workers Alliance under the Twitter handle @ABetterABK, which stands for Activation Blizzard King. King is the mobile games company behind Candy Crush Saga. How many of you have played Candy Crush? Well, that's the company that they're railing against. The group tweeted that if the NLRB rules in our favor, the ruling will be retroactive and we will set a precedent that no worker in the US can be intimidated out of talking about forced arbitration. A current Activision Blizzard employee who asked to remain anonymous as they feared retaliation said that some employees have been recently told that their performance was not up to par by their lead, even though they had been doing well. Some people have gone completely silent, according to employees. We've seen retaliation already, according to employees. The employee said the mood among colleagues and other workers who are part of the alliance has been hopeful for change, but that they don't think it will come from leadership. Activision Blizzard did not respond to a request for comment. CWA did not respond to an email requesting more details. So, in its lawsuit, the California Department of Fair Employment and Housing included a series of stories detailing the harassment faced by some Activision Blizzard employees. Female employees were overwhelmingly assigned to lower grades/levels and received less stock, the complaint alleges. Also, women were subject to so-called cube crawls, during which men at the company got drunk and crawled through office cubicles and harassed women. What the hell? What? Since the lawsuit's announcement, several damning stories of harassment have come out. In 2015, Blizzard recruiters asked a woman at a cybersecurity conference whether she liked being penetrated. In late 2018, Blizzard's chief information officer, Derek Ingalls, joked in a meeting that employees shouldn't sleep with their executive assistants, and if they did, they shouldn't stop. And if they did stop, they better have deep pockets. That's disgusting. Just horrifying. So that is just one example of what's going on labor-wise. And that's something we here, Jordan and I were talking about this. It's something we want to cover more and more. We already have. I think Jordan's been to the Amazon Staten Island warehouse probably 5 times by now. And he's always the only reporter out there. So we're going to continue talking about labor and about what's going on. Another labor issue, and Jordan interviewed Starbucks employees, and that's what's going on. He interviewed this past weekend. Um, Even though I'm a subscriber, New York Times has decided to paywall me. Just 1 second. 1 second, my folks. That's why you guys are so cool. You don't expect, CNN level. Oh, they say I've reached my limit on that too. Well, hold on. Let me log in. Let me log in as they want with this ridiculous paywall. I apologize. Um, so labor is really having a moment in the United States, and unfortunately, it's completely disgusting because a lot of people on the left aren't even talking about it. They're talking about nothing. They're talking about each other, and I find that horrifying as well. Um, we can't win on the left if we're simply railing against people who, supposedly have the same values and policies that we have. How can we win if we're railing against that? So, anyway, here's the article. Starbucks faces rare union challenges as Buffalo workers depots. This is Buffalo, New York. And Jordan May, he's hurt his ankle and has some long hauler symptoms, etc. So we're trying to, see like physically can he go? If he can, he definitely will. So that's again Buffalo, New York. So Starbucks. The organizing campaign, if successful, could upend the company's labor model. Employees say chronic understaffing has long caused frustration. So this is from August 30th. For years, Starbucks workers have complained about the company's labor practices, saying that chronic understaffing has led to a chaotic work environment, erratic hours, and difficulties taking sick days. Despite periodic commitments by Starbucks to revise its policies, the complaints lingered and appeared to intensify during the pandemic, when overstretched workers also had to contend with new health concerns and safety protocols. Now, the long-standing frustrations are fueling one of the most serious union campaigns ever to confront the company, whose more than 8,000 corporate-owned locations in the United States are not unionized. Last week, so again, this was late August, Starbucks workers in the Buffalo area announced that they were forming a union called Starbucks Workers United. And on Monday, they filed petitions from employees at 3 stores in the area asking the National Labor Relations Board, again, that's the same board that we just spoke about with Activision, to hold elections on union representation. They could fix this or that issue, but there are always new things coming up, said Brian Murray, a barista at Starbucks in Buffalo. So you can check out on our channel. Jordan has interviewed some of these Buffalo workers. He interviewed a man and a woman, speaking about their exact experiences, and that's what it's all about: is giving the microphone back to the people, having folks who are going through things talk about them. For sure, um, there are also additional strikes going on, and I think that this is trying to open. What is happening? There are additional strikes going on. It seems like labor, workers are organizing and are fighting back, and so few organizations are actually reporting on this. It's disturbing to me, but I am really hopeful. I'm really hopeful that this is going to lead to, that these, like, that Starbucks, that these Alabama coal miners, that nurses, which we'll talk about, are striking. I'm so hopeful that that will lead to more and more. So this is out of workers.org, saying Alabama coal miners on strike, nurses and students walk out. So this is just to show you that this is much more widespread than is being reported. So at the beginning of July, Alabama's vaccination rate was the lowest among U.S. states, with only 34% of its people fully vaxxed. Now the state has been hit by the more contagious Delta variant, on and on. So on September 6th, the evening of Labor Day, over 24 emergency room nurses and hospital workers refused to clock in into their night shift at UAB Hospital in Birmingham to protest crisis working conditions and unfair pay during the pandemic. The hospital is the state's largest single-site employer. When a local WTVM 13 reporter conducted a live interview with the three spokeswomen for the multi-gendered multinational group, one made this statement. We all came into nursing because we have a compassionate heart and we want to care for people. But going through 2 COVID surges and being understaffed, it's taken a toll on us, all of us. Obviously, we want to continue to do what we love, but it's time to get the equal pay we deserve. We're not just fighting for our night shift team, we are fighting for the ER department as a whole, day shift and night shift. And that goes for the whole hospital. We want to thank the day shift team because they are in there supporting us, staying overtime, caring for patients, coming into the ER now. Nobody is being denied care and no one is being delayed. And that's because these people who care, these nurses, are doing such incredible work. And it's too much. And so we hope, depending on his health, that Jordan can get up there and report with these nurses in Buffalo. In addition, there's strikes going on all over, and I think it's catching. It's catching, and more are doing it. And I hope more and more do. We've said this vocally. We believe that the way to make change in this country is through a general strike. Workers have to stand up against the oligarchy. So this is coal miners. According to the U.S. Bureau of Labor Statistics, Alabama has a union membership rate of 8%, the highest of any southern state except Maryland. Okay, first of all, I live in Maryland. I don't consider it a southern state. Just a side note. The 2020 U.S. union membership average is 10.8% of employed wage and salary workers. Alabama mine worker union organizing in defiance of state segregation dates back to 100 years. Brookwood coal miners at Warrior Met are entering their 6th month on strike against that international coal company. The miners are hanging tough on the picket lines. I don't know if you guys can see those pigeons. 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. The miners of local 2245 United Mine Workers have traveled twice to New York to demonstrate on Wall Street against BlackRock, which we covered one of those. The mega hedge fund that's the main backer of Warrior Met. So, of course, you guys are welcome, of course, to check out our channel when it comes to the miners' strike, when it comes to the nurses' strike, when it comes to the Starbucks strike. We're the Amazon workers' strike. We're out there. I think that this is what, the future of the true progressive movement. It's focusing on workers' rights, focusing on the true working class of this country, and highlighting what's actually going on. And this, of course, all relates to the video I showed you from Afeni, where there are U.S. Marshals helping with evictions in our nation's capital, which is absurd and obscene and horrific. As if people don't want to pay their rent. As if people who have children, I believe that person being evicted, the gentleman in the video said she has 2 kids, as if people don't want to have a safe place to live. As if that's the case. Of course it's not. This country is struggling. This country. Hey. Sure. I'm live right now. So do you... Yeah. I am a journalist. Yeah.
Oh, man.
Uh-huh.
Oh,
1 second.
Oh, man. Hey, help me God. Guess what?
What?
I'm Mr. DuPont.
Okay.
Now, listen.
1 second.
Man. You know, that's my secret. And the TD Bank. I love TD Bank. Now, guess what? I dance out there.
Dance.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm
Nice.
one of the best. Now,
Sure.
I really, really.
Well, at least come sit by me so the
Ah.
audience can hear what you're saying.
Now listen.
Here, come over, sit right here.
I'm gonna show you what I can do.
Well,
So
we talk about politics and issues like the working class.
Hey, okay, hello, how y'all doing? My name is Mr. DuPont. I'll be at DuPont Circle. Now, this is what I do. I dance. I'm a choreographer. Now, listen. I think that I'm better than Chris Brown and Michael Jackson. Guess what?
Well, that's pretty impressive.
That's pretty impressive, but guess what? I'm ready to have a dance off, y'all. Because guess what? I think America Got Talent, right? And
Can you
guess
actually
what?
hold this? Because
Yeah.
I have to plug in. Go ahead, you
Yes,
keep talking.
America Got Talent. Now, guess what? I think I'm the best dancer y'all out here. Now, I heard that building right there down DuPont there, we had a model, America's Next Top Model.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that building. Yeah. And guess what? I'm about to be a star. A shooting star. Yes, Mr. DuPont. Everybody love me
I like
down
it.
here. Yeah.
Well, do you have a so we're talking about, you know, the working class. There are some people who are striking because their companies aren't treating them well, like Amazon. Do you have any insight into how everyday working class people, particularly black people, are treated in this country?
Oh,
Speak
man.
on it.
Well,
Speak
okay,
on it.
well, you know what? As a black man, I feel as though, I'm treated fair, but I can be treated fair. Now, I'm not blaming the white man for what they done to us, but guess what? It's not always their fault because we played a part of ourselves. Now, I know there's a lot of good people in this world, and there's some bad people. Guess what? The good always will always bad. Will always. God breathed out his penny for us. That's why you see the birds and the bees. They all hum together. They sing together. Everything come together in this earth. Guess what? It's only one thing. God loves us. And he wants us to love him. Now, he gave us a gift. We all know our gift. But we got to find it. Now, I think I found my craft. I be 300 pounds. I lost that weight.
Nice.
Man, and guess what? I'm a ball of energy now. Man, there's a lot of things that I can do that I couldn't do at first. I can do now. Only through the grace of God. Because I know that he's my final destination. I obey mother and father first. This obey God first, and then my mother and father, because he's our final destination. And I know he put gift on this earth for us. And he gave me a gift. And my gift is I can dance. And I do it so good.
I'm curious, do you think that there's, you know, a lot of people are really upset and saddened by this country right now about how people can't find jobs, how, you know, the top 1% wealthiest people just keep getting richer and richer, and the rest of us are kind of left to suffer and figure it out. What do you think about that?
Oh man, you know what? A lot of people out here now are buying tents. DC is one of the most richest cities in America. You got DC, New York, California, and Florida. Now, this city, DC is pregnant with opportunity. Everybody want to come to this city and get jobs. But what about the people that been here? You get me?
Yep. Yep.
Think about that. The ones that been here that has nothing. We try. We make try our best, you know. But we try to make a way. It's hard out here, y'all.
Mm-hmm.
We struggle, but as a people, we come together and we make it happen. That's what we can. Now, I'm not saying that to be poor fun. No, but guess what? I'm poor, but I'm blessed with a lot of joy. Because I didn't nobody take my joy. Because God gave me that joy. Now, I'm not a rich man, but I'm rich with blessings. And I wish that I could have everybody out here with all their houses, but I know it's not meant to be that way. You know? It's not meant to be that way. You're supposed to be rich. That's just real life. That's how it is. So it's written that way. Now, if everybody was rich, if he messed up, or I was poor, he messed up. It's supposed to be balanced. It's supposed to be this way. That's why it's life. I'm not mad at nothing. Everything that ever happened in life was meant to happen. It's a great day for me. You don't question it now, but I know it could be better. I know that. It'll definitely be better.
How do you, a lot of people are really suffering and sad right now. How do you stay so positive? I think that's inspiring.
I stay positive because I know that I got a family that pray for me every day. I know that every day I wake up, it's an opportunity for me to guess what? Every day I wake up, I know that I got breath in my body. I know that I got a chance to do something, to be great. And I know that God saved my life, and He got something for me. I'm just waiting for it to happen. I know it's going to happen. Because I know if nobody got me, God got me.
One of the things I was talking about earlier today on the stream was there were literally U.S. Marshals trying to evict people here in D.C. Evict folks out of their house, where so many have lost their jobs due to coronavirus, etc. Have you seen a lot of people getting evicted, a lot of houselessness in D.C., which we've covered on our channel? But what have you?
What? I done seen it all. Yes, I have seen it. I really have. And it's sad that it's like that. We all need help. But guess what? A lot of people scared to ask for help. I'm one of the ones that not scared. And I know that ain't nobody doing it by themselves. Everybody has somebody to help them. Even the president need help.
Mhm.
Can't nobody do it by themselves at all. And I know that we stop and ask for help, it'll get better. It will.
Mhm.
And all we gotta do is ask for help. So everybody know how to do that.
Right.
I can show you, but you gotta want the help. And I want it.
Absolutely.
Man,
Do you want to tell people your name and how they can find you? I don't know if you want to dance for them, but you're
my
welcome
name
to.
is Carol Fletcher Jr. You wanna find me, you can find me at DuPont Circle every day. I try to help people, and I try to give back, man. I know it's hard out here, God, but guess what?
That's lovely.
As long as you keep faith in God, don't let nobody take your joy. Always be happy. Always try to stay positive. Always.
That's amazing. Thank you so much.
Always. Yeah.
Really nice to meet
Nice
you.
to meet you
Thank
too.
you. I'm
Always.
Jen.
I'm JR.
Nice to meet you,
Mr.
JR.
DuPont. Yeah.
Mr. DuPont. Thank you.
Yeah.
What a lovely guy. Do you want them to see you dancing? I can show them. I have to turn the camera. Hold on. 1 second. I don't know why it's not turning. There we go. Thank you, JR. Wonderful. Awesome. So good to meet you.
Yes. Yeah.
Aw, that was really nice. What a cool guy. So as you said, you can find him here at DuPont Circle in DC. Um, I think my assessment of that, you know, moment, in the moment interaction is that, and I find this a lot. that some of the most downtrodden people are the most inspirational. They have the most hope and they have the most compassion for other people. And as JR said, he's he's poor, and you can find him here at DuPont Circle daily. And um, but he has his optimism, and he has his caring for other people. And isn't that what we're supposed to be about as humans? It doesn't matter how much money you have. It doesn't matter how elite you are or how rich you are. What matters is how you present yourself to the world. And I truly believe that we're all meant to leave the world and its people better than we found them. So good for JR. And I'm happy to have met him. I'm happy he popped on to the screen. And I'm happy that you all got to experience and see his optimism. What a really cool guy. And that's what we see on the field all the time are people who've been put upon and oppressed by this country, who retain their optimism, retain their good spirits, and continue on to do amazing things for other people. Um, so I'm really touched by that. I wish him well. I'll have to come look for him again next time I'm in DuPont Circle. But I thank you all for watching, and I encourage you to join statusq.com/join, $5 a month. That keeps us out on the field reporting. We do. Jordan and I started this because we felt a huge gap in what's being covered, what's not being covered, and what real people are dealing with. And that's what we do here at Status Coup, is cover real issues on the ground. And we appreciate you so much. Statuscoup.com/join. We're on our way to 2,000 members, and you get great behind the scenes content. We have a behind the scenes video with Jordan and myself that you'll get access to that we just filmed yesterday. And yeah, it's a lot of great stuff. Access to our Discord, our members only Discord, and so many cool things. And also, you'll be supporting this real on the ground reporting. So, I thank you all. I love you all. I'm really like honestly like incredibly touched by JR who we just met, and I'm glad that you were all here to experience that. All right, so bye bye.